Insert abrupt transition. Okay, well, that was not as graceful as I was hoping. Well, hello and welcome everyone. Gotchaholic here, and today we'll be discussing more Higurashi Gou, and potentially Higurashi Sotes. But today's video is going to be a little different, mainly in length. This video is going to be pretty short. I'm just going to present you a question, pretty important question, and then just a little bit of evidence to suggest, a possible answer to said question. Then you can really be on your way and do what you want after that. So, between Umineko and Higurashi veterans alike, and newcomers, well, okay, not so much newcomers, still it's a similar demographic, and the point is, a majority of the Umineko and Higurashi fans are leaning towards an assumption, potentially a very fatal assumption, which is probably what Ryukishi wants, to be honest. The assumption that Go is ultimately setting up as a prequel to Umineko, meaning this is happening before Umineko, because we're setting up Birkenstell and Lamb Delta's origin stories. Both, one or the other, however it works. And as easy to believe as these words come together, it's still an assumption. Just going to poke a few quick holes at the possibility that this is merely just an origin story for either Lamb Delta or Birkenstell. So let's jump to the point in time in Go when Satoko first finds Hanyu's horn. This is after Rika was freed from Hinamizawa, and this is after Rika and Satoko attended St. Lucia. Upon visiting Hinamizawa, Satoko realizes how everything's changed and it sucks, and she also hates going to St. Lucia. And the important thing to take from this is that Satoko straight disappears out of this timeline. She meets Feathering, and guess what? Okay, I know who Feathering is. I know she's basically a god and she's really bored, but I know she's not all-knowing. You know how I know that? Because as soon as she meets Satoko, she starts asking her a bunch of questions about different characters and events from in-universe, which includes Higurashi, Umineko, and even other works of Ryukishi's. So the simple question is, okay, well, why is Feathering asking Satoko she's Lamb Delta? Feathering clearly recognizes a pre-established Lamb Delta character. And I know some of the Umineko fans are still caught between, is it Takano? Is it Satoko? Look, I haven't even seen Umineko all that much, and just from the few glimpses of Satoko's progression and development in the last few episodes of Go, she is most certainly being set up as this character. For better or worse, however, back to my original point, why is Feathering asking Satoko if she is Lamb Delta? More like she's trying to confirm if Satoko remembers being Lamb Delta or not. But it's not just that. Feathering seems to hate Rika. She seems to pity her powers. Well, how does Feathering know Rika? Even if she digivolved from Hanyu, she's clearly not Hanyu. She's Feathering. Ewa, whatever. Who up to this point has clearly not had any relations with Rika, because Satoko just fucking met her. This is the first time she's been introduced to the fucking verse of Higurashi. Not to say the universes were ever separate, but come on, it's like a really basic question that doesn't really draw any immediate answers. That's the thing we can take from this. And there's a possibility that this is in fact happening after Umineko. Literally all it takes is just one extra timeline. One extra timeline? Yup, just one extra little timeline. So let's jump back to the moment when Satoko finds Hanyu's horn. There's a saying where I'm from, fuck around and find out. And that is exactly what Satoko did. Now what if this is the second time this event happened, and the first time this event happened, Rika actually grabbed Hanyu's horn, met Feathering, and left Satoko alone in a loop all by herself, with no explanation, not having died. So this Rika that crafted Feathering from Hanyu becomes Birkenstell and is the OG Birkenstell that all the Umineko fans are familiar with. The Canic Birkenstell. And the Satoko from that loop that gets left by Rika all alone eventually loops for eternity, or however that works, gets into the Umineko verse, and ultimately is OG Lamb Delta. OG Lamb Delta is an already established and existing character, one that the Umineko fans are very familiar with, that they know and they love. And at some point, this OG Lamb Delta decides perhaps she's losing a game to Birkenstell. We already know Feathering fucking hates Rika, or at least pities her. And would probably be down for a lot of shit if she was bored, to be honest. My kind of gal. But Lambda Delta just fucks with her younger self, somehow resets again, and she's obviously had to loop to get into the Umineko verse, right? Maybe even in the original line she gets remnants of Hanya's horn, or, however. I'm not going to speculate on all the supernatural knowledge. I know, there's books that represent different worlds in the theoretical game board. But as all Higurashi fans know, if you complete the visual novel and get all the Easter eggs, you get an Easter egg that shows adult Rika, who's basically Birkenstell, resetting Takano's childhood. So everything I've said is clearly in the realm of possibility, and I really haven't thought all that much about it. I just don't see any direct evidence that this is set up as an origin story, nor do I have any reason to assume that. So why is everyone assuming that? Given that this, in comparison to Higurashi, seemed like it was going through Higurashi, and all of a sudden is happening after. Now it's the same thing with Umineko. Oh, well, this will go through Umineko. No, it's probably fucking happening after. Think about Feathering's perspective. She's, been in Umineko, same character that all those fans know and love, and next thing you know, she gets popped up into a fragment world with a young version of Lambda Delta standing in front of her, so she's like, are you Lambda Delta? No. Interesting. And then one last thought to close this out, to just actually apply this to the story of Higurashi. To the first 3 arcs of Go at the very least, I'll give you that. So just to touch upon Arc 1, just in general, in a very general sense. The way Sachiko handled Rika in this event was she basically inflicted Rena with the syndrome, let Rena do what she wanted, and then capitalized on this event after the fact, fucking with Rika, killing her, and resetting her into Arc 2. The thing to take away from this is that she took a roundabout approach with Rena in the first loop that she truly reset Rika into. Then, same thing with Arc 2, just very generally, Mion is the first culprit we see babble nonsense about Rika and directly want to target her. So this is basically the first time Satoko directly gets her culprit to want to target Rika. However, in Arc 2, this is after Rika's already dead, so clearly Satoko is still in her developing phases of how she's planning out her syndrome powers. In Arc 3, likewise, she spends a lot of time with Keiichi, a lot of time with her uncle, and when shit goes wrong at the end of Arc 3, she immediately sends Oishi to finish Rika off. Again, the show's progressed development, because now she is instantaneously able to get her culprit to actually go out and carry out her will of finishing Rika off, unlike Arc 2, which she started to figure out, but obviously her timing was off. And then in Arc 1, she didn't try that at all, she took a roundabout approach. My point is that Satoko has been developing, however, in these first 3 arcs, she has always been hesitant. You'll always see the constant theme, the consistency of our Satoko is that she's hesitant. But from Neko Damashi into Satoko Hen, Satoko completely changes. And if this is an origin story, because it's still possible that this could be an origin story, though I would not just safely assume this, it would make sense that Satoko is just getting desperate and, more aggravated, and so she goes at Rika a little bit harder through Neko Damashi into Satoko Hen, right? That makes sense. But if this is not an origin story, and this is actually happening after Umineko, and OG Lambda Delta is fucking around, who knows where the fuck she is, man. Is she behind me? Man, you know what I'm saying? That means Satoko could have straight gotten possessed by Lambda Delta pretty much from Neko Damashi on. At least that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Like I said, take this information as you will, but with that, hope I gave you some interesting things to think about. Hope you'll have a great rest of your day. If you're interested in Higurashi and these theory crafting and you want to get more into this, you want to hype up, well, fret not, because clearly I founded this channel in Higurashi and I'm obsessed with this show, and I got loads of content coming. And I know y'all might want different content. If there's an anime that you want me to review or check out, or, you want to see an AMV with a certain song or themed around certain characters, you want me to bring a certain theory into highlight, however it works, just comment what kind of content you want to see down in the comment section and let me know, and we can see what happens. So, that said, I hope y'all have a lovely rest of your day. I'm posting another video later today. It's a double video day, so look forward to that. It's a highly anticipated one. If you know, you know. Alright, later. See you in a long time!